Have you ever noticed GTA 5 feels like it's watching you back? Ghosts on schedules, corpses that know you're coming, a world that keeps running when you look away. Rockstar built something that notices you're there. And the more you look into it, the worse it gets. Stand still on Mount Gordo between 11 p.m. and midnight. Not near the peak. Down at the campsite. Engine off. Character idle. Then wait. You'll hear her before you see her. A scream. Faint. Then louder. Jolene Cranley Evans. Murdered by her husband Jock in 1978, pushed off a cliff while he chased his stuntman dreams. The cops called it an accident. She knows different. If you climb to the peak, she's there floating over the word Jock, written in blood on the rocks. A 2D texture coded to vanish the second you step too close. But aim down the sight of a weapon and she stays. Rockstar programmed her to know when you're watching through a scope. And the screams? Those only play in the enhanced version. After 10 p.m., only from that campsite. Jolene's voice, moments before she died, fully mixed, placed in the game, triggered by your location and the time. Most games would just show you the ghost. Rockstar made you hear her death. How Rockstar make it worse? The blood the word Jock only appears when Jolene does. Between 23 and midnight, the accusation is there. Before 11 p.m., clean rocks. After midnight, clean rocks. The blood is tied to her presence. Like she has to write it every single night. Over and over. Forever. And if you watch her from the campsite below, she appears larger. The 2D texture scales based on viewing angle. Which means Rockstar didn't just place a ghost in the game, they calculated how she'd look from multiple positions. They wanted you to see her from down there. They wanted you to hear her scream while you stare up at a woman who's been dead for 46 years. The whole story is documented in-game. There's a newspaper article in the Senora Beach paper detailing Jolene's death. Jock was arrested, investigated, released without charge despite being covered in blood. The police concluded it was an accident. The ghost knows better. Drop to the ocean floor off the east coast, out past the safe zone where pressure doesn't kill you yet. There's a hatch down there. Steel, circular, with a window that lights up when you get close. It's the hatch from Lost. Everyone knows that. What they don't talk about is what happens when you get near it. Knocking, rhythmic, deliberate. Not random audio, it's tap code. Players decoded it years ago. It says, "Hey, you never call. How'd you fancy going bowling?" Roman Bellic. From GTA 4, the cousin who wouldn't stop asking Nico to hang out, Rockstar put him in a hatch at crush depth and made him tap out a joke nobody would hear unless they got close enough to die. The hatch can't be opened. No mission sends you there. It exists because Rockstar wanted you to find it, decode it, and realize they went that far for a punchline. That's not an Easter egg. That's obsession. But think about what that means. Someone at Rockstar sat down and programmed tap code. Not Morse code tap code, a completely different cipher system. They recorded knocking sounds in a specific rhythm. They placed those sounds at a location most players would never reach. Then they made sure the hatch lit up only when you got close, so you'd know something was there even as the pressure started crushing your submarine. They put effort into something designed to kill you before you could fully experience it. The hatch sits just outside the kill zone. Your submersible gets crushed from pressure if you approach. Scuba gear won't save you, either you die before you reach it. Even invincibility cheats get disabled at that depth. Rockstar coded the hatch to exist in a space you physically cannot survive in without mods. They wanted you to see it. They didn't want you to reach it. The abandoned mineshaft near Sandy Shores. Fully modeled. Lit. You can walk inside. There's something off about it, but it takes a while to notice what. It's tied to the murder mystery side mission eventually. But before you ever get that mission, the shaft is there. Waiting. The Infinite 8 killer used this place. Merle Abrahams. He murdered 8 people, carved messages across Blaine County. Immurificus 8 and variations, scattered on rocks and walls. If you piece together all 8 clues, you find the bodies. The shaft is where it ends. But the shaft exists before you start the mystery. Before you find a single clue, the murder location is already there. Fully functional, accessible. Rockstar didn't build this for the mission. They built the mission around a place that already existed, or the underwater wrecks. Bodies with cement shoes, feet bound, sunk in the ocean. A reference to the mob's preferred disposal method, straight out of Vice City's playbook. The woman cemented at the bottom of the sea is connected to the murder mystery, but she's not the only corpse down there. Scattered across the ocean floor are bodies Rockstar placed for no mission. No collectible, no achievement, just sunk. One of them even uses a living NPC model that can only be revealed with mods. Rockstar coded her as alive, then drowned her and locked the animation. The giant whale skeletons off the coast of Fort Zancudo and Banham Canyon. Massive, fully rendered. Likely Megalodon remains based on the size, though Rockstar never confirmed it. You can swim through the ribs. These aren't decorative props, they're detailed skeletal structures positioned in the deepest parts of the map. No objective ever sends you there. Most players never see them. Rockstar didn't hide these places. They hid the reason they exist. Here's what that implies. GTA 5 tracks your location down to the coordinate. It tracks time of day down to the minute. It tracks weather. It tracks which character you're playing. The Mount Gordo ghost only appears for 1 hour, not a random spawn, a scheduled event. Jolene's screams only play after 22, only from one location, only in the enhanced version. The underwater hatch only lights up when you approach. These aren't random systems, they're reactive. Rockstar built a world that responds to where you are and when you're there. Some events only happen once per playthrough. Switch to Trevor while flying and sometimes you'll see him waking up on a beach in his underwear miles from where you left him. Switch to Michael and he's mid-argument with his family, or being chased by angry men whose wives he slept with. Switch to Franklin and he's throwing someone out of his house. These aren't cutscenes triggered by your input. The game kept running while you weren't there. It generated scenarios in your absence and drops you into the middle of them. The world doesn't pause when you're not looking. It continues. And when you switch back, it shows you what you missed. Each character even has different sleep schedules when you put them to bed. Trevor advances time by 12 hours. Franklin by 8 hours. Michael by 6 hours. Rockstar programmed different rest cycles for each protagonist. Why? It doesn't affect gameplay, it doesn't unlock anything. It's just there, a detail nobody asked for. NPCs in GTA 5 don't just populate streets, they react to who you are. Play as Trevor in downtown Los Santos. Dress normal. No weapon. No threat. Some civilians will still cross the street. Some will verbally abuse him unprovoked, even throw punches for no reason. Players report this happening specifically with Trevor and Franklin, rarely with Michael. That's not random pedestrian AI, that's character recognition. The game knows who you're playing as and adjusts NPC behavior accordingly. Trevor gets different treatment. By default, when you press the interaction button as Trevor, he insults pedestrians instead of greeting them. The game coded hostility into his basic interaction. Playing as the other characters, the same button press is neutral or friendly. If you follow female NPCs around Los Santos, they get nervous. Look over their shoulder. Walk faster. No crime committed. No weapon drawn. Just behavioral response to prolonged proximity. The game tracks how long you've been near them and changes their animation state. Pedestrians film you with their phones when crimes happen nearby. They call the cops, there's even a random chance built into it, around 50%. Sometimes they call, sometimes they don't. Rockstar coded uncertainty into witness behavior. And if you're driving a high-end vehicle and stop near pedestrians, some will pull out their phones, take pictures, comment on your ride. The game evaluates your vehicle's value and triggers specific reactions. The world doesn't simulate life, it simulates observation. NPCs exist to notice you, react to you, and move on. Then there are the mysteries Rockstar never solved. The Mount Chiliad mural. Inside the cable car station at the peak, there's a mural showing a mountain, UFOs, a jetpack, and strange symbols. An egg, an eye, lines connecting everything like a conspiracy board. Players spent years trying to decode it, data mined the game, searched every texture file, tried every combination of time, weather, character, and location. Forums filled with theories. Some thought it pointed to a hidden jetpack. Others believed it unlocked a secret ending. People tested everything. The mural remains unexplained. Rockstar never confirmed what it means. The closest thing to an answer is that it relates to the 3 UFOs that spawn after 100% completion, but even that's player interpretation. The developers stayed silent. They let the mystery grow, let players obsess. The mural itself became part of the game's mythology, not because of what it revealed, but because Rockstar refused to explain it. After 100% completion, 3 UFOs appear under specific conditions. One above Fort Zancudo at night approach, and it hurts you with some kind of energy field. One above Mount Chiliad during a thunderstorm at 3 a.m. One underwater near the military base, half buried on the ocean floor. Each requires exact conditions, completion percentage, time, weather, location. These aren't random spawns. The game is waiting for you to meet precise criteria before showing you anything. You can't trigger them early. You can't force them. You have to complete every mission, every side quest, every collectible, then wait for the right moment. Rockstar made you earn the right to see UFOs by finishing everything else first, then made you show up at 3 a.m. in a thunderstorm. There's also the Infinity Killer website. In-game, you can access a website called Who Killed Leonora Johnson. It's a cold case site dedicated to an unsolved murder from 1975. If you find all 50-letter scraps scattered across the map, you piece together a confession. The killer is still alive in the game. You can find him, confront him. The game gives you a resolution to a murder mystery from nearly 40 years before the main story, told through collectible scraps hidden on rooftops, beaches, and hillsides. Rockstar wrote a murder confession, split it into 50 pieces, scattered them across Los Santos and Blaine County, then let you solve a cold case that has nothing to do with the main plot, or the serial killer messages. Across Blaine County, you'll find phrases carved into rocks and painted on structures. There will be 8. If Fruit knows who is guilty. He was wrong to sleep with her. They're all connected to Merle Abrahams and his 8 victims, but they're out there before you start the mission. Before you know, there's a mystery to solve. You can stumble onto a murder clue and have no context for it. The game just leaves disturbing messages in the desert for you to find. Because here's Rockstar's trick. Most open-world games build a stage. You're the actor, the world is the set. When you leave, the lights go out. GTA 5 doesn't do that. Switch characters and find evidence that time kept moving. The 3 protagonists live separate lives. Trevor's running guns in Blaine County. Michael's dealing with his family. Franklin's working his way up. When you're not controlling them, they continue existing. Jolene's ghost doesn't haunt Mount Gordo. She haunts you. She only exists between 23 and 0 because Rockstar wants you to wait for her, to schedule your visit, to know that she's on a timer and you have to be there. The hatch only lights up when you approach because it wants you to know it sees you. The UFOs only spawn after you've proven your dedication by completing 100% of the game. Then they make you show up at exact times under exact conditions. These aren't bugs. They're not accidents. They're systems built to make you feel watched. And the most unsettling part? Rockstar knows you're looking for these things. They know players' datamine files, decode audio, test every coordinate. They built Easter eggs that require that level of obsession to find. The tab code at the hatch, the precise spawn time for Jolene, the exact weather and time conditions for the Mount Chiliad UFO. The 50-letter scraps scattered across the entire map. They're not rewarding casual exploration. They're rewarding surveillance. They want you to watch the game as closely as the game watches you. The game tracks you, times you, watches where you go and who you're playing as, and in return, it shows you ghosts on schedules, corpses in the ocean, mysteries it never intends to solve, and UFOs that only appear when you've done everything else. Rockstar's real trick isn't making a world that reacts to you. It's making a world that knows you're watching, and every now and then, it watches back. What's the creepiest thing that's ever happened to you in GTA 5? Not a mission, just something that felt wrong. Let us know what you think in the comments section, and watch next. The full timeline of GTA's criminal families explained in detail.